What's going on, guys? My name is Wade with Tech Daily. So it's no secret that over the last few weeks, I've reviewed a lot of Samsung Galaxy S8 and S8 Plus cases. I've reviewed cases from name brand companies like OtterBox and UAG, and I've also taken a look at some budget cases that are just as good, but that also won't break the bank. And I got a lot of feedback and suggestions to do another video on some of the best budget cases for the S8 and S8 Plus. And so that's what this video is all about. I have here 5 more awesome case options to protect your shiny new Galaxy S8, all a little different to accommodate everyone's unique styles and preferences, but I think each one of these cases not only has a nice balance of quality and protection, but also a good fair price for what they offer. I'll be going over each one of these cases individually and showing you guys what they're all about, and as always, if you'd like to check out any of the cases mentioned or purchase one for yourself, I'll have links to the cheapest prices down below in the video description, so be sure to check down there if you're interested. So enough talking, let's go ahead and get into it. The first case on the list is the X-Doria Defense Clear, and this is certainly the toughest and most rugged case on the list, with triple layer shock protection to shield the S8 from anything that happens during day-to-day use. Right off the bat, you can see that the case is very simple. It's got a minimalist design with no crazy patterns or anything, just a nice crystal clear plastic and rubber material. The case is really solid all the way around. It feels super tough because it's a pretty thick and sturdy case, and that also means it comes across as being very high quality as well. The back portion of the case is more of a solid polycarbonate that's tough to bend, and the outside edges are a thicker rubber TPU layer that will offer some nice protection around the edge of the phone for sure. The case itself is all one single piece, so your S8 just simply slides on in with no problem. The case is obviously really easy to take on and off, and you can see that when it's on the phone, there's really not much to it at all. For as tough and as rugged as it feels, it's still a pretty sleek case all the way around, especially along the sides, which means it's still really usable with one hand. There's not much that gets in the way at all. And the edges are just raised high enough to keep the screen off the table with the phone face down. Of course, one of the main reasons why you might pick up this case over some others is that nice crystal clear backside that lets your S8 show through if you want to always be able to see its color. Aside from that though, you get access to everything you need around the bottom with big precise cutouts. The buttons on each side of the phone are covered but still easily accessible when you need to press them. And around back there's a sizable cutout for all the important stuff too. The X-Doria Defense case has certified military grade drop protection up to 3 meters on concrete, so when it comes to everyday drops, this case can definitely handle anything that might happen. It's certainly a great case overall that not only looks nice and feels really well made, but X-Doria backs it with some pretty good drop certification that proves its worth. For around 20 bucks, this case is honestly a great value and certainly worth considering. Next, we're taking a look at a really nice leather wallet case from Shieldon. This one I have here is the brown leather obviously, but it also comes in black, and like most other wallet cases, you get a really simple flip cover design with a plastic case for your phone on the right side and some slots on the inside cover on the left. The case is made from some high quality genuine leather that has a great texture to it. It doesn't feel slippery or plasticky like a lot of the other cases that I've seen that claim to be real leather, and you can see there's some quality stitching around the edges as well, which is a nice touch. Like I mentioned, flipping over the case, you get 2 pockets on the inside cover that you can use to store a couple of your most used cards or some extra cash. So if you ever want to leave your wallet at home or carry one less thing around, you can keep only the essentials alongside your phone. And the flip cover can also double as a kickstand. You can set the phone up to be sitting on its side, so if you want to kick back and watch something or need to be hands-free with your phone propped up, this case will certainly allow you to do that. The actual case part that your phone fits in is a really slim and simple plastic case, but the bulk of protection is obviously going to come from the thick leather that surrounds everything. And what's also nice is that the flip cover cases like this one obviously will keep your screen covered most of the time too, which should limit the possibility of getting it scratched. Even with the added bulk of the thick leather and flip cover around back, using the phone with this case isn't a big hassle. It's probably a little more bulky than a lot of the cases you might be used to, but generally speaking, all of the extra parts and pieces don't really get in the way. I would say my only desire with this case is that I wish when you flip the front cover back that there was kind of a magnet or strap or something to hold everything in place. But I think it'll be easier to hold back as time goes on and the leather sort of softens up a bit. As far as the phone goes, even with the flip cover, you get access to everything that you need, like the buttons on the side and all the ports and speaker towards the bottom of the phone. And as far as price goes, this case is available on Amazon right now for over 60% off, so it's definitely a great deal. For the third case on the list, we're once again checking out something from Shieldon. This is the hybrid dual layer case, which is a little more traditional. traditional. It comes in a couple different colors. This one is just the standard black color, and like the name of the case suggests, this is sort of a dual layer case with a thick rubber inner piece and a harder plastic shell that wraps around the edges and back. The rubber inner layer is super soft and very flexible, and definitely thick enough, especially around the corners, to where you know this case will do its job. And the rear plastic outer portion is just a simple single piece that sort of acts as a design element, but also keeps the case tight on the phone. The plastic piece sort of clamps around back to keep everything in place, but definitely adds one more layer of drop protection. As far as fit and function, the case is quite slim all the way around the phone, especially along the sides, so it doesn't take away from using it. But most importantly, you'll notice that the corners of this case have some big thick rubber bumps for some added protection. So dropping this phone even on the corner should be no problem with this case. Of course, you also get complete access to everything you need, like the buttons, the camera around back, and ports on the bottom. This case is currently listed on Amazon right now for $12 and is a great option if you're looking for a solid case that offers good protection. Now, if absolute minimalism is more your style, I have here what is probably the simplest, slimmest, thinnest, and cheapest case you can buy. And I sort of use the term case loosely here because this case more resembles a skin than anything. This is the Bare Motion case, a single piece, all plastic, paper thin case that sells for just $7.99. And you can probably tell there really isn't much to say about this thing. It's about as thin as it can get, while still being sort of tough enough to bend without really snapping. And when it's installed on the phone, it really looks and feels like there's almost nothing on at all. Looking at the S8 dead on, you really can't even tell there's a case on, and from the side you can see that it's just barely there, wrapping around the edges and back of the phone. It basically goes as far as it needs to and not a millimeter more. Everything is cut very precisely, so it fits tight around the phone, and all of your ports and buttons are easily accessible as well. This is also one of the few cases I've seen that has sort of a dividing line between the fingerprint sensor and camera. So if you're still having trouble smudging up the camera when you're searching for the fingerprint sensor around back, this case can certainly help with that. The texture on the back of the case is also really interesting. It has a rough, grippy feel, which is kind of awesome and is exactly what you need to be able to handle the slippery S8. Obviously though, this case is going to offer the absolute minimal amount of protection. You'll be safe when your phone is sliding around on its back, but that's really about it. But for $8, if you want the slimmest case possible, this is it right here. And finally, we have another crystal clear case, this time from Poetic. Poetic has been around for a long time, and they also make really good cases at that budget price point. This one is the Poetic Affinity Slim Fit Clear, and for $10, this case is an awesome value. It's made from some super solid plastic and rubber, really pretty difficult to bend, so you know this case is really solid and tough all the way around. The sides have some nice texture, sort of like little ridges that give some extra grip to hold on to when you're using the phone, and this case comes in a couple different color variations. So while the sides on this one are sort of that frost white, you can also get them in black or blue if you're looking for a bit of color. Of course, the main reason you get this case is to have your Galaxy S8 show through around back. The case itself is maybe a bit thicker than it seemed at first, especially along the sides compared to some other cases. The edge goes a little bit higher than the phone screen, which is definitely good if you ever want to rest the phone face down. The screen won't ever touch anything, but luckily, even with the taller edges, using the phone is still perfectly fine. And of course, everything else about the case, from the covered buttons on the sides to the cutouts for the headphone jack and USB port, are as you'd expect. So there you go, 5 more awesome budget cases for the Samsung Galaxy S8 and S8 Plus for you to consider. All the cases I featured in this video were honestly really great, and there's certainly something out there for everyone, no matter what you might be looking for. As always, I'll have links to everything that I featured in the video down below, so be sure to check down there if you'd like to learn more or possibly pick up one of the cases for yourself. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know what case you're currently rocking on your S8 in the comments below. Also, be sure to follow Tech Daily on Twitter and subscribe to the Tech Daily YouTube channel if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys later.